You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here. Sally, welcome to Spark TV.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I already know, considering we've just been gas bagging for the last 10 minutes, that this is going to be a hoot. And apologies in advance if we're coughing and spluttering, but we're just here and people can just take it as it comes.
That's right. This is real life.
That's exactly right. I love it. Let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I am Sally, obviously, and I actually have two businesses running at the moment. One is called Savvy Sally, which is social media. And I know it's a funny name. Everyone comments
I
on
love it. I love it.
But that's the one that I'm wanting to wind that one down because my other business that's my passion is called South Coast Edit. And so
Ooh.
what that is I guess it's like a pocket tour guide to all of the south coast of New South Wales. So right from sort of
Ooh.
Wollongong all the way down through Jervis Bay, the Shoalhaven to Ulladulla.
Wow.
Because yeah, but I guess when I say a pocket tourist guide, it's more for locals because I want
Mm.
locals to enjoy the area as much as the tourists do. And that's my absolute mission. I live in a tiny town of 600 people. And
Wow.
so we don't even have a postman here. That's how small the town is. And
Wild. This is awesome.
I know. But we're a tiny town, but we're very, like, the tourists actually love coming here because I'm only a couple of hours from Sydney. And so during
Mm.
the week, there's nothing happening. There's no businesses open. There's no one around. And so I just have this bee in my bonnet about getting the locals out there more. Like, it's such an amazing area, and I want the
Mm.
locals to get out and enjoy it, support the businesses so we're not so reliant on tourists. That's my mission.
Wow. Oh my God, this is so cool. I love it. So it's such a personal mission as well. Like,
Yeah.
this is the place that I live. I want it to flourish. How did it actually get started? Was it just literally you had to be in your bonnet and you decided? Like what? Talk to me about the backstory. How did we get into this?
Oh, okay. I don't know how far to go back. But years and years ago, on an absolute whim, I caught up with a friend that I hadn't seen for about 10 years. And we just caught up for a coffee and we were just talking about, we felt the same. And so
Mm.
we were talking about it. And at the end of that catch up, we had developed a business, but it was actually called South Coast Kids. It was focused on families at the time.
Ah,
And
cool.
we released a magazine and we did all these things and won a business award. And then we sort of just went off and did our own things again. But off the
Mm.
back of that, I got into social media and the business just sort of sat there. And then it was probably 2 years ago that I went, you know what? My kids have grown up a little bit. The family thing's like not super relevant to me anymore with young kids. So I'm going to turn it into an adult version of South Coast Kids. And that was back in 2023, I think. And so that's what I did. And it was mainly just a social media platform at the beginning because that's
Yeah.
obviously what I do day to day. And then my dad actually passed away, and that gave me
Oh, I'm so
motivation.
sorry.
That's okay. That gave me motivation to get out and do what I really want to do in life.
Mm.
It's like there's nothing like just boom, everything changes
Yep.
overnight, which is what happened,
Yeah.
very sudden.
Wow.
So yeah, so I just went, I'm going to go all in on South Coast Edit. And I released my own magazine that I wrote myself. I did all the photography myself, all the research myself because I'm a loon. So I did all that and released a
I
couple of
love it.
magazines. But that was, so you've pulled my string now. That's
I
obvious.
love this. This is so good. I love it. I want to know. I want to know all the goss.
So that was kind of all the lead up to. I had in the back of my head an idea that I wanted it to be an app. I wanted South Coast Edit to be an app.
Ah, yep.
And I realized I was paying all this money and putting all this time and effort into like the thing before the thing, like the magazine before the app to try and get the name up. So anyway, long story short, I decided to focus instead on developing the app. And so
Yep.
that's where I'm at now. At That's where I'm at, not app. Um,
See, obsessed. Just
yeah,
into it now.
yes, you could say. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So yeah, so I've built sort of an app as it is at the moment, and it just needs completing. But what it is it's like a pocket guide for locals to the area, but tourists can also download it. It gives you ideas on things to do. It tells you what businesses are in the area. It's geo fenced or whatever the technical term is. So as you
Yep.
move around, it follows you, and
Wow.
it has exclusive deals as well. So if you're in Kiama, it says, "Oh, in Kiama, did you know you can get a discount here?" Blah 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 blah. But it does that for the whole coast. So
Oh my God. This is so cool. How okay, hold on a second though. How have we gone from you're a media content person,
mhm.
social media, you created a magazine, you've taken photos, obviously that's your skill set. Now you're building an app.
I
Like
know.
how did this happen? Like how has that process been for you?
It's been very overwhelming,
Mm,
actually. The reason why I've ended up building it myself is because of the time frames and the expense of getting
yeah.
someone else to do it. I know nothing about coding. I've done basic things like everybody has, built landing pages and this and that. But
Yep.
there's a new software program out there called Replit, and
Ooh.
it's like an AI software program. So instead of knowing coding, you just tell it this is what I want, and
Yeah.
and so that's what I used. And so I built the demo version of the app in a week.
Holy crap. That's so cool. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now
So
we have a demo version, and then
yes.
you're like, okay,
Yes, so from here, it's basically so I've got the pretty version that I can show people and take around to businesses and all that sort of stuff,
yep,
but I am yet to develop, and I actually this is what I applied for the grant for. I
yes,
need to I need to develop the back end, and
yep,
I can't do that, like, because it's a
yeah,
membership and it's this and that, and I'm like, that is just too much for me." So,
yep.
yeah.
How cool though that you can actually create something that you can go out and sell
Mhm.
yourself. And then also that makes handing over to a developer so much easier as well, rather than trying to paint the
Absolutely.
picture for them and you're a creative person and they're a tech person. Now you can just say, make it do that.
Exactly, exactly. I've already got exactly how I want it to look. I've already got the functionality for the user, but I don't have the functionality for the back end of it. And so,
Wow.
and that's what I need to focus on. I've got world domination plans. So, because this,
This is so good. I love world domination plans. They're my favorite kind of plans.
me too. And I seem to come up with them all
Ah,
the time, but then it gets overwhelming. And
yes.
so yeah, so once this is fully developed out, the plan is that I will white label the app,
Yep.
and you can have that app just transplanted to different regions. So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
It's so funny. I mean, okay, so this is a little parallel. So I moved to the middle of nowhere 4 years ago. Mining husband. I'm in Kalgoorlie in WA at the moment. And it always strikes me. So in Kalgoorlie, I shouldn't say this, they'll excommunicate me, but they're still in like Facebook days. And so as someone new coming into the community, wanting to see what's going on, it makes it really hard
Yeah.
and it still relies on word of mouth and all this stuff. And I'm like, and I know so many people don't take jobs here because they think it's a crap place to live. But I'm like, actually, it's just they have a PR problem. They need
Yeah.
something like this to say, these are your hairdressers, these are your cafes, these are your pubs, these are your restaurants, these are your this is your that. Like having a platform like this that shows all of the local places to go. I
Yep.
mean, I not only does that like all the people who live here, the community get in and amongst everything, make lifestyle better, support local businesses, but also attracts talent to the region as well.
Mm,
So this
true.
is genius. I'm obsessed with this. This is so good.
Well, next, so we'll have the South Coast app, and then we'll have the Kalgoorlie app.
There you go. Oh my, I'll bring it to Kalgoorlie. I love it. But it's so fascinating. Like, people don't, I think, take advantage of where they live. It's so easy to just get trapped in the day to day. And I kind of think everyone always complains about where they live, but it's actually, you've just got to go out and find the hidden gems. And I love that you're doing that for your community.
Yeah, that's my life's plan. I don't know. Yeah, long story
This
of
is
how
so
I got
good.
there. Don't even know if it's all related, but that's how it happened.
Well, I think it is because that's what I love about business is it's not linear.
Yep.
So many people don't take the leap into business because they think they've got to have it all figured out. And I'm like, that is literally nobody's story. If you talk to anybody in business, whether they have just started out or they're like billionaire successful level, they had no, like the thing that they set out to do didn't happen,
Yep.
like it's not a linear path. You kind of go into something, see an opportunity, try something and it doesn't work. Like all of these are stepping stones for getting you to your thing that you're so
Absolutely.
passionate about. And I love that you said that you had that moment of, maybe it's time to just do the thing that I want to do.
Yep. Yep.
How
Like, yep.
how is that for building a business, right? Like having something that you can just latch onto and be obsessed about. If you can find something that gives you that energy to get out of bed, I just think that is the like missing ingredient in so many people's business.
Yes, and I find too that I kind of know when I'm on the right track because the vision is so clear. It's
Mm,
so clear. I know exactly the end point of where I want to get to. And with the app, I knew exactly how I wanted it to look. And
yeah,
it took that's what all the refinement was in Replit was telling it, no, I want this to be yellow. I want this to be, it was so clear to me how it
yeah,
needed to be. And and that can sometimes be the hard bit because I can see the end point.
yes.
Getting there is like you've got to take all these different steps, you know, and all the learnings. Now it's time my turn to cough.
Yeah, I know, don't worry, I'm been.
All the learnings along the way, but I try and view it all as part, you learn from, oh, this didn't work. Why didn't it work? Okay, so then if I tweak it and do this, then that will probably work out better. And I
Mm,
guess you have to have a certain amount of lack of fear of failure. Like I definitely have a fear of failure, especially
yeah,
financially,
yep.
but it's a balance, I guess. So you've still got to have the guts to just do it to some extent.
Yeah, it's kind of like be okay with the micro failures, maybe.
Yes.
Like, I think, well, and it's interesting too, because it's the idea of experimentation, like optimization, always fascinates me. Because, I think people get super fixated on like the latest trend, like
Mm.
Reels or TikTok or whatever. And it's actually like that doesn't work for everybody. So you really do have to be okay with trying everything,
Mhm.
like trying and failing, right? And it's not
Yep.
a complete, my whole business idea sucks and my business is a failure and everything's over. It's like you have to almost be happy to fail every day, trying little things until you find the thing that works for you.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
agree.
How do you get comfortable with that?
Well, I think it was before we got on camera. I have this underlying level of stress and
Yes.
anxiety that's there all the time.
So we don't ever get comfortable with it. I love it.
I think, like I said, it's kind of a balance. So I get comfortable with
Mm,
it to an extent.
yeah.
Um, and but anything massive, like I've never taken out a business loan or I've never done because that to me is next level of risk.
Yeah.
And the bit that I didn't even go into about my how I got to this point was that I was a financial planner for 15 years before this.
Ah,
So
wow.
I'm very, very conscious of not overextending myself
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing. And so maybe that was a really good grounding to have before going into business for myself. So I literally self-fund everything. And if I can't
Mm,
self-fund it, I kind of, okay, then maybe that's out of reach for now. Maybe that'll be later or something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is really interesting. I mean, I love that philosophy of self-funding because I've kind of flip-flopped. So I've been my previous business was venture backed. So we had investors and all of that kind of stuff. And it was the worst. Like that level of stress and anxiety, reporting into people. Like you get to the stage in that type of business where you don't really, you're just an employee. Like, yes, I
Mm.
started that company, but no, I was just an employee reporting to a board and shareholders. And it was really not what I wanted for my life. Whereas now I'm of the same thing. Like it's just incremental and
Yeah.
it's painfully frustrating some days when I'm
Yes.
like, I just want to do X, Y, Z and I can't. But I'm happy to offset that with now I own everything 100%. I report to myself. My decisions are my decisions, good or bad.
Yeah.
So I think, kind of picking. your risk appetite and also the way you want to live your life every day is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally
Mm.
agree. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's wild. So, how will you monetize the app?
So it's going to be membership based.
Cool.
It will be because it's got those inbuilt discounts. The philosophy is so it'll be the individual who downloads it. It's a web based app, but that's, yeah. So you have a membership which is only like $3 a month or something like that.
Cool.
So it's not inaccessible in any way, but you
Yeah.
can immediately get that back just with like the free first coffee that you get, or there's no
Ah,
limit to
nice.
the amount of discounts and deals that you can get. But in addition to that, so for the businesses, they won't pay per se to put a deal forward, but if they want that deal to be featured, or if they want a push notification about that deal, then they will pay for that. So it will
Nice.
sort of be monetized on two sides. And this is why this particular bit has become overwhelming for me, because I can make it look pretty and I can
Yes.
put the content in there, and that's
Yeah.
drawing on like my social media sort of stuff. But push notifications and memberships and like that's just, yeah, I need an IT person to do that bit.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And it is, I know, also wildly frustrating that we need IT people sometimes. But yes, there's usually a point at which we need that to happen.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
the software that I use could potentially do it, but because it's still me driving it, I just don't
Yeah.
trust it.
Yeah, exactly. And it is interesting. I feel like AI has come so far, and it is just at that tipping point, isn't it? Where you're probably right. Maybe in like 12 months,
Yeah,
that all of those things would be far more straightforward. But it is just, yeah, it's getting us to a point. I think the prettiness that you described, like that UI, the interface, getting that developed via AI makes a lot of sense. But yeah, when it is all of that, housing people's credit cards, all that kind of stuff, you probably
exactly.
do want some human's eyes over it, don't you?
Yes, exactly right. So, oh, even just talking about it, I kind of go, oh,
Oh my God, it's too much.
it's very
Oh,
overwhelming. But having the marketing background that I have for the last, like, it's been 10 years or so that I've been doing social media and all that sort of thing. So I'm confident with the connections that I've built and all that
yeah.
side. And I did speak to an app developer initially, and they said, oh, most people come to us, they build the app, but they have no plans for how they're going to market it and how they're going to get
Yeah.
people to subscribe and all that sort of stuff. So that was a really good thing to say, because that made me feel a little bit more confident that at least I've kind of got that base covered.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just literally the development side, that finishing bit, that's the overwhelming bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think it's good to. I actually was just speaking to another woman in business earlier today, and, you know, bringing in experts where you need experts,
Yeah.
right? It's really fascinates me about business is that it's not one thing. It's finance, it's systems, it's marketing, it's, leadership, it's HR, it's tech stuff, depending on what you're in. We can't be expected to know absolutely everything about all of those things. I mean, even interesting listening to you where you bring the finance background. So you've got a level of business savvy and understanding, but then you've been in sales and marketing for a decade. So you've got that side, you're self teaching bloody AI and tech and all this stuff. But at some point, it's okay to bring in
Yes,
experts.
yes. And
Mm,
you should, more than what I do, because I
yeah.
rely on myself too much, and that's when it gets overwhelming. Whereas
Yeah.
bringing in people when you need to, and I have been through phases where I've had people help me, like I've had an admin person and all that sort of stuff. But especially because I'm building up the South Coast Edit business and I'm running a social media business at the same time, it just
Yeah.
it's ebbs and flows with the busyness. So you really
Mm.
need to be prepared to roll with the punches.
Yeah. And I mean, also smart though. I mean, sometimes people talk about focus, but I'm a big believer in not putting all of your eggs in one basket and having the safety net of the business that is totally fine and working. It might just not be your passion.
Yeah.
How do you manage having a business that needs to be operated, the money needs to come in, and this passion that is absolutely drawing you and the new business that you really wish you were all in on?
Yes. Um, I guess I compartmentalize in my mind. So
Mm.
I it's I've done all the wrong things. I've done the forgetting to send invoices and then clients owe me thousands. I've done all those, believe it or not, even with a finance background, I've still done all the things. And
Yes.
having someone help, then not having someone help, and people, it's just been through COVID, all that sort of thing. But
Mm.
what I've learned is that I just compartmentalize. So I know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my social media business days,
Yep.
and I have a set structure that I follow, and I work on one client at a time and one client only, and I boom, 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 boom. And then the Thursday, Friday is the South Coast edit, the developing that. And that's a working on the business. The other one's working in the business, the social media.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
South Coast edit is working on the business, is mainly what I'm doing. Yeah, and building up collaborations for that. So I'm collaborating with businesses to go out, and really it's the social media side that I'm building up, going out with to businesses and showcasing their, oh, did you know you can go here and blah blah blah. So I'm really building up the social
Mm.
media with that in those 2 other days. So
Wow. And so you are building a community first while you're
yep,
developing in the app in the background. Nah, that's so
exactly.
smart. I love it.
Well, otherwise you release an app, and I just had this conversation with someone the other day. Otherwise, you release an app to who?
Yes.
Like, how are people going to
Yeah.
find it? So I'm doing
Totally.
it.
But it's so funny because some people think they've got to keep it all secret and they'll just launch it and that all these people will just find them and it'll be amazing. I'm like, that's not how the world works.
Yes, it's actually a balancing act though, because I do
Yep.
get a little bit funny, and I don't want to talk too much about it.
Yep.
I do, but I have said, like, if you look at the South Coast Edit website, it says app coming soon,
Mm.
and
Yes.
so I've sort of sprinkled it out there, but not full gung ho yet. So I'm more into the building the collaborations and the brand awareness first.
Yeah, that's super smart. And I know it's really interesting. A lot of women in business especially struggle with the sales and marketing side of things. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to sell. Selling's a dirty word. I love it, but anyway.
Yeah,
But it is one thing that people struggle with. But I think that you've got the right idea. At the end of the day, people have to buy your thing. Otherwise, there's no point in having a thing. And I think, especially for you, you're actually doing something that builds community and
mhm,
is having an impact. So you've got to
yeah,
be out there pushing that message.
absolutely. And I have reframed sales in my mind as well. So I don't see selling as selling. I see
Mm,
selling as helping. And if
yes.
you really believe in what you're doing, then you are helping people by letting
Yes.
them know about it. And that's
Mm,
the exchange. The exchange is they are getting value, or their life improves, and you get the money from that, which you deserve because you
absolutely.
introduce them to that. So that's always in the back of my mind, how just reframing that you're not selling, you're helping.
Yeah, I love that. It's so funny. It's like selling is a real bro hustle culture thing, and it's got all the movies like The Wolf of Wall Street, and like it's got all of these like used car dealer kind of vibes
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
And I do love that. Like the most successful women in business I see who are really good at that sales and marketing piece, this is exactly the mindset they have. It is service, it is helping, it is so I call what I do soft selling. So
Mhm.
I always say to people, I'm just willing to have more conversations than any person on the planet. And if it's not right for some people, that's cool. I'll just keep talking to as many people as I have to make the revenue goals that I have. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you could say whatever you want about that. You can insert all the bro words like outreach and optimization and rah, 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 but I'm like, my philosophy is I will just talk to as many people as I need to make the money that I desire.
Yep.
So I think
Yep.
if you can reframe sales as helping or service or whatever it is just a game changer for women in business.
Yep. And I think what I do, and I don't know if this is right or not, but just it feels more natural to me, is
Mm.
I do a little bit of give. I always do
Mm.
a little bit of give before I take as well.
Yes.
So, and I like to give to influential people in my area. And I think where I live is very small as well, like I said earlier, and it still is very much about relationships, and it is about
Yes.
communication and all that sort of thing. So like I've got the local radio station, for example, that I have done things for and given like free advertising to them. And
Yeah.
so now when the app comes out, I've tracked them. I've tracked them.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So now
Oh,
they
it's so
owe
good.
me, you know?
Yeah. It's so true though, but it is so true. Like people buy from people, relationships are everything. And the way you build great relationships really quickly is adding value to people's lives.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that you can do like that that really don't cost you anything, and but I think some people it's like so back in my day, it was all about like free, like you did internships.
Mhm.
And back in my day, you didn't get paid for that shit. I think now there's like laws against it and you have to pay interns and all that kind of stuff. But in my day, it was all about get your foot in the door, show your value, all that kind of stuff. And I have the same philosophy in business. I'm like, how can I help people?
Yeah.
Um, and if all it costs is my time and energy, then that's a great, I consider that a great investment because you're spot
Yeah.
on. Those people remember that kindness and that generosity and that value and keep you top of mind when they do need to pay for something.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as a woman, like we kind of talked about before, I think that feels a bit more natural. So
Yeah.
the reframing that sales is helping and the
Yeah.
that it's a give and then a take just
Yes.
makes you feel much more comfortable with selling. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're the best. I could talk to you all day. However, I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last piece of advice. So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her business journey?
The biggest piece of advice from me is go with your gut and
Mm,
100% be yourself. So when I worked in finance, it's very stiff. It's very professional. And I felt like a square peg in a round hole because as you've seen, I'm arms everywhere. I'm loud. I'm all the things. And I just did not fit in finance. So I made a conscious decision when I started my own businesses that I was going to be 100% me and I
mm,
was going to go with my gut a lot more. I'm not going to be led by other people and all these sorts of things because if you're going to stick around for a long time, you have to be who you are and you have to
mm,
be comfortable and you have to, it's just easier, I think, if you are yourself. And so that's my biggest piece of advice is to just trust your gut, be yourself, don't dim your sparkle because that's what makes you unique. And I think that's what creates a successful business around you as a person. Yeah, that's my
mm.
advice.
I love it so much. Sally, you are absolutely incredible. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your journey with the Spark community today. I'm so excited for this app release. We are all watching and waiting with bated breath and cheering you on. So, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much for chatting with me over a cup of tea and coffee.
I will do that any day of the week, Sally. That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.